Boom. Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage, Draft Guru. By far the best beard on YouTube. This video is going to be basically, a lot of it's going to be about Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. Both running backs. So, do we really think that Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry found the fountain of youth? No. They're the same running backs they were in 2023. But what is the one difference that both of them have in common? They went to a new team with much better offensive lines. Think about that, fan base, when you want to draft Austin Gentry at 12. Don't hate me for it, but I happen to be a Dallas fan. But I'm a fan of all football. I say it like it is. The Eagles, I think, have, and they traded a few for Dotson. I think the Eagles have close to 15 draft picks in this April's draft, from wheeling and dealing, going up and down. If Philadelphia needs an offensive lineman or not, if there's a good one on the board, they draft him. How many years has Cam Jurgens been on the field while they had Kelsey? They also drafted the kid's late first round pick, Gene, out of Alabama. Spent a pick on him. Left guard, Landon Dickinson, who was a center at Alabama, but they switched him to guard in the NFL. Kid got no ligaments in his knees. Straight, he was like I think a second round pick. They got the NFL's highest paid left tackle, Jordan Mailata, who's just a giant individual. One of my best videos, I got 3,000 hits in the offseason. The Jets discarded Mekhi Becton, 6'7", 380, who was a top 10 draft pick out of Louisville. He went to the Jets, and he was a left tackle. And I said from day one, he doesn't have the feet to play left tackle. He had some injury problems, too. Dislocated his kneecap. They wanted surgery. They didn't get surgery. Jets cut him. Nobody went near this kid. Philadelphia signed him to a 1-year free agent contract for $5 million. And that's $5 million ain't nothing in the NFL. Plugged him right in. I did a video on him on their first game of the year where they played the Packers. I saw a kid who I said was a guard from number one. Now you got 6'7", 380 at right guard, mauling people. Where, oh where, are all the draft content creators that say, oh, that person is too tall to play guard? Because they read that somewhere, but they never ever played the game. How ironic, the Baltimore Ravens right guard, he's 6'8", 400 pounds, Daniel Falele, round 4 pick out of Minnesota. Now, let's look at the Baltimore. What's up, champ? We all know the Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl. Yeah, of course. Listen, we all know the Chiefs are going there. because they got to get all the Swifties there. So by the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl, there'll be like, a half a billion girls watching the game, you know, just for the Super Bowl. And even if the Chiefs lose it at halftime, Kelsey will pass out Swifty's thong and everybody will take a big sniff and they'll get rejuvenized, for the second half. But let's look at Baltimore Ravens. Ronnie Stanley, left tackle, first round pick, top 10 pick, Notre Dame. He's had a tough time with injuries, but still, they used it on him. Tyler Linderbaum, round 1, center, who we passed. Daniel Falele, round 4 pick, right guard, 6'4", 6'8", 400 pounds. He's played right tackle too, University of Minnesota. They got a rookie at right tackle, but he was I believe he didn't go. I don't believe he was a day 3 pick, but Roger Rosengarner, I believe, out of Washington, he's playing good. They also got Andrew Voorhees sitting on the bench at a USC, who I loved, but he snapped his knee at the combine 2 years ago. So this was like a redshirt year for him. Good afternoon. How long ago? I just started. I just jumped on. So they got Voorhees sitting on, getting healthy. Eagles got Trevor Keegan, one of my top guards, getting healthy, just sitting on the bench. The moral of this video is Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, are the exact same running backs they were. Saquon's the same as he was with the New York Giants. What did the New York Giants have? They had straight garbage on their offensive line. When Henry was with the Tennessee Titans, their O-line fell apart. So 2 running backs go to new teams with new offensive linemen and better offensive line. And ironically, they both have career seasons. Do we really think they found the fountain of youth? Or is football all about up front? And it is. Football is won and lost in the trenches. Bad weather today. Snow. I don't care how much you could pass the ball during the regular season. Come cold weather playoffs, you better be able to pound that rock. There's probably going to be snow later on, Baltimore, Buffalo. You better be able to run that ball. But the moral of the story is Philly throws 1 million picks at their O-line, and they even went out. And I did a video on it, and it's probably my highest viewed video I did on Mekhi Becton from in the summer. I was like, yo, that's the steal. The sign getting him for 1 year for $5 million. Mekhi Becton, 6'7", 380 pounds out of Louisville. The Jets drafted him to play left tackle, but he had injury issues, and he just doesn't have the feet to be a left tackle. And that's okay. But I'll throw his ass in a phone booth and he mauls people. And that's what he's done all year. So, we all know we hate on them, but Philadelphia Eagles front office is playing chess. Dallas is playing checkers. Same thing with the Baltimore Ravens. Yo, I got to check. I know Philadelphia gave up like 3 picks for Jahan Dotson, the wide receiver from the Redskins, and they still have like 15 picks coming up in April's draft just from wheeling and dealing this past April, going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. They accumulated like more than 15 picks. That's why they sent a few picks for the wide receiver. What does Dallas do? We trade up for 25-year-old wide receivers that play on that come from small colleges, and they do absolutely nothing. Tyron Smith, way over a decade ago. Zach Martin, way over a decade ago. Travis Frederick, way over a decade ago. What high picks has Dallas thrown at their offensive line beside the last 2 years? Tyler Smith's working out. I get that. Guyton, we got a big, big question mark on him. I think he's a right tackle. I don't think he's a left tackle. And I said that from day one. He's a right tackle. But everyone said, oh, but we switched Tyron Smith from right tackle to left tackle. That's like saying, like you met a girl in a bar 17 years ago and you're lying on her, got it to work, and you took her home and you nailed it. You think that exact same line is going to do the same thing with a girl into tonight's bar you go to. Where are all of Dallas's picks on the offensive line? The 3 I mentioned were way over a decade ago. So basically, Tyler Smith, he's panning out. Tyler Guyton, big ass question mark. Cooper Beebe. Everyone's going crazy about, oh, Cooper Beebe this, Cooper Beebe that. You know he was like across the board everyone's number one guard in this last draft. So it's not like he's outperforming. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And he's doing it good because they moved him to center. My number one guard was Zach Zinter from Michigan, who went to the Cleveland Browns a few plays later, a few picks later than Cooper Beebe. But this is what happens when you build your team from the inside out. It's won and lost up front. Dallas's offensive line is a straight train wreck. Philly's O-line, bunch of young cats, besides Lane Johnson. He's a little bit older. Baltimore, they got a big, strong, young offensive line. So this April, come 12, do you want an offensive lineman? Or do you want a running back that you can get any round? Any running back can run through a hole. Like I said, this is football for dummies. This is football 101. This is for the people that have never, ever played, never, ever suited up. It's won and it's lost up front. Say what you want. You got to give it to the Eagles. Say what you want. You got to give it to their front office. Dallas only goes out and drafts an offensive lineman when they have a glaring need and a glaring hole and no person even on their roster. Where Philly just drafts offensive linemen left and right. Best BPA, best player available, because more than not, when you draft for need, you get burned. Getting Gentry will put us in a bind. It definitely will. Getting Gentry, because he's going to be getting tackled in the backfield, and Gentry's on the small side. And no, listen, no matter what, we have to come out of this draft with 2 running backs, and we can also pick up an undrafted free agent running back. That's how deep this. When you guys see my running back list, it's crazy. There's a legit 30 good running backs, and 2 of them even went back to college. They decided to stay an extra year. There's legit 30 good running backs. So even if we take Gentry at 212, we still have to get a big bruiser later on. But Dak's not going to play forever. But if we draft a horse offensive lineman, he's going to be there for the next 10 years. He can play for any quarterback. He can play for any running back. Listen, I just wanted to jump on here, make it quick, not go crazy. But the game is won and lost up front. Anyone can run through a hole. Also, when you listen to content creators that say, oh, these guys are too tall to play guard, it's comical. Philadelphia Eagles, right guard, 6'7", 380. Baltimore Ravens, right guard, 6'8", 400 pounds. But I guess they're too small. A lot of these guys put a hint on themselves, man, that the only uniform they ever put on was when their mommy got them dressed for school. A lot of guys put that a hint on themselves. Oh, he's too big. I laugh at that. It's won and lost up front on both sides, offensive line and defensive line. Do you like Campbell as your first pick? Honestly, no. I like more. It's either going to be Tyler Banks from Texas as my OT1 or Wyatt Mullen from West Virginia, who I'm leaning towards. And I'm the guru, so I have to be different. But Wyatt Mullen, 6'6", 330, West Virginia, ask me how many sacks he's given up in the last 3 years. 0. 0 sacks. Go to the YouTube machine. Thank you, Robert, for jumping in the chat. Best guru and beer on YouTube. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Listen, it's all on YouTube. Check out West Virginia, Penn State, first game of the year. They had Abdul Carter as a defensive end up against Wyatt Mullen. Wyatt Mullen allowed 0 sacks. Don't get me wrong, Abdul Carter won a couple of reps, but like he beat him on the he made believe he was going outside, and he beat him on the inside with his quickness. Because Abdul Carter's bend is just ridiculously crazy. And listen, I'm Dallas. I'm going offensive tackle. If Abdul Carter slides to 6'7", I'm making a call to try to get up and get him. But it just shows you, Dallas has no left tackle for the 2025 season. We have no right guard. Stick a fork in Zach Martin. He's done. He's been done for 2 years. We have no right tackle. Terrence Steele was an $82 million mistake. We could have got Orlando Brown for $60 million. Could have threw that $20 million at an extra at a defensive tackle, at a linebacker. The game is won and lost up front. You can have Ray Lewis and Luke Kuechly at middle linebackers. But if they have 340-pound offensive guards on them every single play, they ain't going to do anything. It's the same thing with running backs. If you got the Great Wall making huge holes, anyone can run through it. And ironically, running back is the deepest position in this draft coming up in April. I've put out 30 running backs already. You'll be able to find starting running backs as an undrafted free agent. That's how deep this class is. But what do I know? Like I said, when people say guards are you can't be too tall to be a guard, I laugh at them. And check out the video I did back in September on Philadelphia Eagles, Mekhi Becton, 6'7", 380. Worked out pretty good, but it just shows you how you take players from one team and put them on another, and they have better people around them and what you can do with them. But Jerry will probably draft a running back at 12. Why, might you ask? Because Ashton Gentry is going to sell 20 million jerseys. People are going to say, yeah, give me 6 of them. If we draft a left tackle at 12, who's buying his jersey? Say what we want about Jason Garrett, and I thought he sucked as a head coach. I truly did. At least we rebuilt the line when he was around. But like I said, other teams draft offensive linemen BPA if they're available. Dallas only drafts offensive linemen when they're up against the wall and there's a need. And then you got to pray you hit on him. I'm not ready to give up on Guyton because he never was a left tackle in my world. And you can see that in my rankings from last April. He is a right tackle. But he also was a right tackle in college that only started 13 games. So if that don't make you, your antennas go up. But once again, all our content creators basically anointed him into the Hall of Fame once we drafted Guyton. They were comparing him to Eric Williams. It's like the one Dallas Cowboy content creator that says, he still says, MaxiPad Mozzie Smith is better than Jalen Carter, defensive tackle of Philly. A lot of times, it's amazing, man. You guys are smart. It's ironic. You see people with like 100,000 subs, yet their videos get like 500 likes, 1,000 likes. Makes you wonder how many of those subs are actually fake. It is what it is. But Saquon Barkley and Henry basically should just show anybody in black and white. It only matters what you have up front. If you don't have the horses up front, you ain't going anywhere. tomorrow we're at 590 draft prospects. I'll probably be dropping about 10 more tomorrow, and I'm going to be up to about, by the end of the week, I'll probably be up to like 630, 640 by the end of the week. We're also going to come out with a 32 team mock draft 5.0 edition. Will be a first round. That'll be all 32 NFL teams. So I've done 4 of those already. And we're going to be coming out with another Dallas mock draft. That should be Dallas mock draft 64.0. A couple of them are on my channel. My other Dallas mock drafts are on my my Twitter page, Danny Savage Draft Guru. Is what it is. I'm off to watch the second game. Because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. I thank everybody for jumping in the chat with me, especially while there's the games going on.